Greetings, fellow humans. Welcome to the Brandon Lunch Bunch. We're a group of business owners and professionals in Central Florida, and we're getting together to share tips and ideas on doing business in these stay-at-home COVID times. Online meeting services provided by A Better Choice Network Solutions. Brandon Lunch Bunch is a production of Pacesetter Media.
Greetings, everybody. My name's Dave Lobig with Pacesetter Media, and I'm your host today on Brandon Lunch Bunch. And you can tell it's summer because everybody's got other things to do. Even in these COVID times, there's some vacations and absences now with things going on. In fact, next month, we're going to start going monthly. I'm going to be off for 2 weeks in July. And with everything now coming, starting to go on in the summertime, we're going to go to monthly. That's okay. We've got enough content this week. I'm going to do two tips actually, a tip on checking headlines in WordPress. Larry Becker's got a video he submitted to me for me to use here. So he's going to be here too, virtually by video that he's pre-recorded. And then I'm also going to go on cover how to record yourself in OBS, particularly using profiles. That's a follow-up to what I did last week. Let's start. What I want to show you to start with, I want to turn off my video as well as then share my screen. This is a tip on search engine optimization, and it's about checking headlines that are created by WordPress, in particular WordPress Page Builders. And these are programs and plugins that can be used in WordPress. They make it easy to point and click and build a web page. However, it's also important to know the code. I'm going to show you the code that one of them generated that is bad for search engine optimization and how I fixed it. So here's what happened. Now, the H1 tag, I've talked about this before, were the headline tags, and the H1 is the top headline, typically one per page. It's important for search optimization. And here's the appearance of this headline in this page builder, again from WordPress: remote workforce technology and services, and the subhead: keep remote teams secure and connected. It looks exactly the way I like it. And this is all built into this page builder where you can create a headline, create a subhead, and it looks like this. All well and good, great stuff. I looked at the code, and this is where Google sees your site. This is how Google deals with it. Here's the H1 tag. That's the beginning. And here's the end. And I've underlined it so you can see them. And here's the text that's in the middle of it: remote workforce technology and services. This span counts for nothing. Keep remote teams secure and connected. That's the subhead. But it's part of the H1 tag as far as Google is concerned. And this is what Google sees: remote workforce technology and services, no space, remote teams, keep remote teams secure and connected. That's not the headline I want Google to see. I want Google to see just remote workforce technology and services. I don't want these keywords watered down with other text. And in particular, I don't want this space. Now, I did look up to see if I can find a definitive answer as to how Google reads the span tag. In HTML, that's this code from websites, span tags count for nothing except for what is done with it with cascading style sheets for the styles. It should not enter a space here. I could not find a definitive answer of how Google reads it, though. While spans have no inherent meaning to them, like a space, Google might read them that way. Again, I couldn't find a definitive answer. It's likely Google reads it like this, puts those two words together. Even if it doesn't, I don't want all these extra words in the headline. Now, here's the correct version. Now, in the page builder, you can set this line to be either between the headline and the subhead or below it. So I change it to put it between just to see what would happen. And then I examine the code. Here's the beginning of the H1 tag. Here's the end. And notice that the subhead now is separate from the H1 tag. It's in its own division: keep remote teams secure and connected. And the only thing that's in the headline, the only text that Google's going to read is exactly what I want. Remote workforce technology and services. This is what Google sees. It's important to know the code. That's my point. You can click and make it look like this. By the way, I prefer it to look like this. For humans to read it, I like this. But I don't want Google to get this. So I would take this compromise so Google sees the correct headline. And that's my quick tip on checking headlines. And so Larry Becker, I've known him for 25 years. He does camera work and on-camera coaching as well as video production. He sent me this video to include today. Here's some tips from Larry on how to be better, how to be great on camera.
Hey, it's Larry, and my friend Dave asked me to do a quick tips video for people that are going to be on camera, my area of expertise. I actually just wrote the book, Great on Camera. And one of the things that I cover in the book, I cover in my live videos, I cover in classes that I've recorded, is that there are a lot of things that go to the viewer subliminally, a lot of things. And this is just part of human nature. We understand eye contact, and if people are looking away, we understand that you should probably be smiling when you're talking on video just to make a better connection. But one of the things that people don't always really understand is they work really hard to get the lighting in their environment just right. But if you think about it, if somebody is sweating when they're talking, this is a subliminal thing, it's a subconscious thing. But if somebody is all sweaty when they're talking, you're not really sure you can trust them. They look a little nervous. Maybe they look a little slimy almost. And what I can tell you is I've got studio lighting where I am. The lighting is great, but I have a problem, and that is cameras can't pick up the full spectrum that the human eye does. And so cameras, when they see something that gets really highlighted a lot because of the light and things like that in studio lighting, you can see on my forehead, I have shininess. I have shininess on the tip of my nose. I am absolutely crystal clean. I took a shower this morning. I washed my face, and my face is clean and dry, and it still looks shiny. It's because I have pretty smooth skin here, and it's just really shiny. So what's the cure? This. I use makeup. And if you've never worn makeup before, and before I started doing videos, I had never worn makeup. You just go into CVS or Walgreens or Duane Reade or wherever, and you say, I need some foundation powder that matches this skin tone. And the people there will help you out. And so I just found one that seems to work for me. And I like it because it's a matte powder. And this is a pressed powder. And so it's really easy to carry around. And you put it on with a little pad like this. And so I want to show you what it's like and what the difference is. So look at me right now and you can tell I'm not really trustworthy. That guy, Larry, looks like he's sweating. So watch what I do. And actual people that wear makeup, my wife watches me do this and she cringes every time because I do it wrong and sloppy and overdo it a little bit. So I'll just show you what works for me. Okay. There's an area that they call the T-zone, and it's mainly right here and right here, but the tip of your nose also. All right, now you see I've got powder on, and it's knocked down the shine, but it's also blotchy. You know, the powder just kind of is caked up there a little bit on the tip of my nose, on my cheeks here, and a little bit into my eyebrows. So now what I do is the thing that makes people cringe. First of all, I put on too much, but that's just what I do. Then I just go like this and just kind of even it out. That's the main thing. All right, so I've still got a little bit of shine right here. I might need just a little more powder for that part of my head. There we go, and just kind of even it out. Okay, so that knocks down the shine and everything looks okay. A little bit extra in my eyebrows. There's a little bit of powder collected in there. So you can just get your fingers wet and rub, and that'll take out the powder. So that's it. That's my tip for today is if you're going to really light your environment and you're going to be on video, especially business videos, recorded videos like this one, where you're talking to people, you're trying to connect with an audience, you don't want to look untrustworthy, by being a little too shiny, or you might look like you need a shower if you look a little shiny. And that just happens automatically. And again, most people are not going to be looking at the video going, oh, that person looks terrible. But what they will think is just kind of at a subconscious level, I'm not sure if I trust this person. So this is just one more thing you can do to increase the looking better on camera. And it's super easy, very cheap. This stuff is like $8 or $10 maybe, and it'll last me years because I don't use it that much. I just use it for these kind of simple videos. Hope that helps. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me at greatoncamera.com. There's a form over there that you can send me an email if you have questions. greatoncamera.com. Thanks.
Really, I can't recommend Larry Becker enough. He knows what he's talking about. If you need help and coaching on being on camera, or you need training for your staff, go to greatoncamera.com. Contact Larry. He can certainly help you with that. The topic I want to talk about this week is a follow-up to what I've done in the past few weeks about practicing, about recording yourself, and using OBS Studio to record yourself for practicing. And I want to talk about profiles in OBS Studio. First, let me share my screen. So this is OBS Studio. This is my typical setup. I'm going to go to our training scene that we have been working on the past few weeks too. Now, this is set to be for 720, which is good for meetings. And 720, by the way, refers to the height of the video. So it's 720 pixels high. Great for online meetings. I usually keep it set like this so that OBS doesn't have to resize anything, which takes up some processing time. There's already enough delay with trying to get out to the internet. I'm just trying to get reduce anything that might be a delay. So I've set this up to be 720 high and reduce the processing time on the computer and hopefully just speed it up just a tiny bit. Great for recording, and I went over last week. You start recording by clicking on Start Recording over here. However, if you want to record a good video that's going to be edited, a higher resolution, 720 is not the standard these days. A better standard, more likely, you'll find more likely needed is 1080, which is 1080 pixels high. So you want to change the settings in OBS, but if you change the setting in OBS, it screws up this 720 scene. But you can manage that with profiles. And here's where you find the profiles in the menu under profiles. And I'm going to change to my recording profile. Now you see now I'm at 1080 because I have OBS set up to work at 1080 high, but the scene I have is still 720, so it's much smaller than the settings that are in OBS and what would be saved when I start recording in OBS. So I'm actually also going to switch scenes. And this is my scene collection for 1080. And now the settings that I just switched to by changing profiles is 1080. So the or should I say that the scene I just switched to is 1080, which matches the size that OBS is recording. And I want to show you where these settings are. And what you have to do is create a new profile under new. And we'll just do it right now. 1080 training profile. Okay. So now I have a new profile called 1080 training, and this is the one I'm currently using, and I can change the settings that are stored with this profile. Go to settings, video, and you want to make sure the base canvas, that's this canvas size, is set to 1080. Now we don't see it 1080, this is the preview, but it is actually working in 1080 behind the scenes. And the output, and that is what we're going to record to, we want to make sure this is also set to 1080. Click apply. You click OK. So that's great for the output. You also want to check under Settings, Output, change this to Advanced, Recording. And I went over this last week. Find where you save these settings so where you save the videos that you create with OBS, and browse to where you want to save these to. As well as, depending on how you're going to do this, recording format's another issue. For short videos, I switch to MP4. You'll be able to use them right away. If you have long videos and the power might go out halfway through, switch to MKV. MKV can be used if the power goes out. You might have half a video, but it can be used anyway. MP4, and you can see the warning here when I changed to MP4, that if I don't complete this video, the MP4 will be useless. For short videos that you don't have to worry about redoing, 30 seconds, 1 minute videos, MP4 is fine. Click Apply and OK. Now, those settings are saved with this profile, 1080 Training. And the scene collection I'm using is Scene Collection 1080. These scenes are not saved with the profiles, just the settings. So I have typically two profiles, my online meetings profile and the recording profile. I have two different sets of settings for those, depending on the purpose. If I'm recording myself for a high resolution video, I change the recording profile. If I'm doing online meetings like this, I switch to online meetings, and the settings are different, in particular, the resolution of the output of the video. So I'm going to switch back to online meetings. You see now I'm huge, and this is how big the video is, because it is the larger video, because I'm using a 1080 scene. I'm going to switch to my 720 scenes, and that switches back to the 720 training scene, where all the settings are set to the same height, 720. And that's 1280 by 720. I think it's 1280 high. But those are the two standards these days, 720 and 1080. You can go even higher than that with 4K. 1080 is typically pretty good for most business videos. Work with your video folks if you need 4K, and they will tell you the settings to switch to. And that's the quick of how to use profiles. I'm going to switch back to showing video. Let me show you this, the scapula, and how to, that part of working at home is maintaining some fitness, and the scapula are important for maintaining posture. And look it up and find some exercises. But I want to show you this. This is Bob and Brad. They're Bob and Brad, the world's most famous physical therapists on the internet, so they say. They say that jokingly. They have a video from a few weeks ago that is the perfect 10-minute daily posture routine. You sit at home a lot while you're working at home, get up and do some exercise. Go visit Bob and Brad. Look up Bob and Brad on YouTube. They have good exercise routines. In particular, recently they did this exercise routine for posture. So look them up. It's important to stay healthy. We want you to stay healthy. So look it up and check out some of their videos. Now, the next Brandon Lunch Bunch is going to be Thursday, July 9th. We're skipping next week. And in fact, in July, we're going to go to monthly, the second Thursday of every month, 11 a.m. Come on back. Check us out for the next Brandon Lunch Bunch, Thursday, July 9th, 11 a.m. Thanks.